My name is Connie Sumner. I'm in my early 40s, living in a quiet suburb of New York with my husband Edward and our son Charlie. We have a calm, measured life, a cozy house, family traditions, evenings with friends. I can't say I'm unhappy, but sometimes I catch myself feeling like I'm living on autopilot, as if there's an emptiness inside me that I can't fill. One day, everything changed. On a windy day, I went into the city on errands and happened to meet Paul, a charming Frenchman who helped me when I stumbled on the street. He invited me up to his apartment to treat a scrape. His place was filled with books, music, and atmosphere of freedom and creativity. I felt different there, as if I'd returned to my youth when everything seemed possible. I tried to forget about the meeting, but thoughts of Paul wouldn't let me go. I found an excuse to call him, to return a book he'd given me. We met again, and something special began between us. At first, it was just conversations, walks, sharing thoughts and dreams. I felt something long forgotten awaken in me, a passion for life, a desire to be myself, not just a wife and mother. I started thinking about Paul often, looking for reasons to see him. With each day, it became harder to hide my feelings from Ed. He began to notice the changes. My absent-mindedness, my delays, my strange excuses. I could see how much he was hurting, but he couldn't bring himself to say directly what he suspected. At some point, Ed decided to find out the truth. He hired a private detective, and soon he hid proof of my relationship with Paul. When he showed me the photos, I saw not only pain in his eyes, but confusion. We sat in silence for a long time, not knowing what to say to each other. I felt guilty, but I couldn't explain why I had let it happen. Ed decided to meet Paul. He went to his apartment with the photos in hand, planning to say, "Stay away from my wife," and leave. But fate had other plans. On the table, he noticed a snow globe that Charlie had once given me and realized that Paul had already entered our family's world. Words failed him. Anger flared. There was a struggle, a sudden push. Paul fell, hitting his head on the edge of the table. It all happened in a second. The room fell silent. Paul lay motionless, and Ed realized he was no longer showing any signs of life. He called me. His voice was shaking, asking me to come. When I arrived, Paul was still lying on the floor, and I understood that something terrible had happened. We were both in shock, not knowing what to do next. In a panic, we decided to hide what had happened. We concealed Paul, took his things to a dump outside the city. Everything felt like a nightmare, as if this wasn't my life, but someone else's bad dream. The police declared Paul missing. Detectives came to our house, asking if we'd seen him. I said I'd only met him once. Ed sat next to me, holding my hand like in old family photos, but his fingers were tense with anxiety. At night, I woke up from nightmares. The sound of heels in the hallway, wet photographs surfacing in the bathtub, Paul reaching out his hand from the darkness. Charlie didn't know anything, but he sensed the tension. He started getting sick more often, asking me to tuck him in at night. When I sat next to his bed, a wave of guilt washed over me. I had almost destroyed everything that truly mattered. One day, we went to the movies as a family. Actors laughed on the screen, but we sat there like strangers, every line echoing in my mind. What if the truth comes out? After the movie, Ed stopped the car at a red light near the police station. The light stayed red for a long time, as if giving us time to choose. He looked at me. In his eyes were despair, tenderness, and a silent question. Do we give up, or do we keep going? I couldn't answer. I just squeezed his hand. The light turned green, the car moved forward, and we drove on, not knowing what awaited us around the next corner. That's how my story ended. Or maybe it only began. Every day I wake up wondering, will I ever be able to look at my reflection without shame? Will Ed ever truly forgive me? And most of all, will he forgive himself? Our house looks the same as before, but inside, the echo of our secrets lingers. And even though we smile at the neighbors, I still hear the whisper of the wind from that day. One random gust can turn your life into a labyrinth, and now we're searching for the way out together.